everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
Wow. Nanny just had the camera where I couldn't see her, and then she adjusted when we started, and I see that she loves wiener. That's awesome. Me too, just not wiener dogs. Anyhow.
Do you know where I found this shirt?
Where?
At the pet store.
Somebody's got a sense of humor.
So I had to get it because I love Mr. Goose so much.
Wait a minute. Wait. What were you doing at the pet store?
What was I doing at the pet store?
Mm-hmm. Were you bringing home new pets?
No. My son got a pet store gift card back for Christmas, and we just hadn't gotten to use it. So we went to go use it, and he has a cat, and so he was buying stuff for his cat, and so I saw this shirt, so I bought this, and then I also got mealworms for our gecko.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
now that you needed to know everything that we did at the pet store.
I needed to know. I thought, because when we were on the plane, you were talking about getting Mr. Goose a buddy, and we had this discussion that nobody will ever be as equal in your eyes to Mr. Goose, and it just would be fair to the buddy. So here we are.
Technically, yeah, but it would be like Mr. Goose's son.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then they would be the Gosling. The baby would be the Gosling. That would be his name.
Oh,
Gosling.
Okay. You've already got this figured out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have Mr. Goose, and then my son calls our other dog Apple Mrs. Goose.
Yes, and so that would be the Gosling.
He lovingly refers to them as the Geese family.
Love it. Okay. Well, let's talk about the video now that we're a few minutes into this. Yeah, we should.
Now that everyone has left.
I know. So today's video is Nanny romances, and it has been a long time since we did a Nanny romance video.
Which I've been talking to you about how we needed to do Nanny, and you kept putting it off.
I haven't read it a lot lately.
And and that's when I was like, but we did one when we first started.
And that was it. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to talk about them nannies then. Yes. But before we get started with that, what would you like to tell all the lovely people?
Well, if you are watching this before March 27th, we are doing our Corinne PR box of Come What May giveaway. The 27th is the deadline to hit that subscribe button to enter to win this. If you're watching it afterwards, though, have no fear. We are doing our 26 books of 2026 giveaways. So we have lots of giveaways coming for you. So just hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss an episode, so you always know what our giveaways are, and also so you get awesome book recs.
Yeah.
So hit that subscribe button, like and comment, hype our videos. All of that stuff helps us get in the algorithm, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to apologize for the echo. I am in the warehouse again, and my new couch doesn't do anything to help the echo, unfortunately.
You need to hang like a rug on the wall behind you, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe when we finally get our bookshelves that we've been talking about for 2 years, that'll help too. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, something on the walls would help though.
I mean, we're talking big metal vaulted ceilings here, so I don't think that they help at all. But okay, are we ready to talk about nannies?
What if you put a big blanket around you? Like made a blanket fort.
Oh, ooh. I'll try that.
Yes. And yes, I'm ready to talk about nannies. And by nannies, we mean nanny romance.
We do mean nanny romance. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't have a blanket here. I'm thinking about a blanket now. You've got me thinking about blankets. Okay. Nannies. Let's do that. So the first book that I have is a dark romance that has a nanny in it, and that is Soft Tissue Damage by Lilith Vincent. This one is about Elena and Cullen. I've talked about this a couple times. This is in the world where we have our Love Me, Hate Me. It's in that world. You see some of those characters from that book, but you don't have to have read that before you read this one. So she calls it her Deadly Hearts world. So it's just all in the same world. But this is about Elena and Cullen. Elena is a lot younger than Cullen. And Cullen, at the beginning of the book, is at a restaurant getting whatever food of some kind. I don't know what kind of food. That's his thing. Anyhow, he's at this restaurant when Elena is his waitress, and her shoe is untied, and he sees this. He's attracted to her. He makes a big deal out of getting down on his knees and tying her shoes for her. And then we see her boyfriend come in and sit down with Cullen and his friend. And the boyfriend is Cullen's son. And so she figures out very quickly that this is her boyfriend's dad. We find out that Elena is she's been raised by her aunts, or who she believes to be her aunts, and they're charging her, like they're back charging her for all of the expenses that they've ever put out while taking care of her while they were raising her. And so she works 3 jobs trying to pay back these horrible aunts. And then Cullen is a single dad. He has his son, which she's dating, but he also has a toddler. And so he really wants to get her around him. Like, he's really got a thing for her. So he hires her on to be his night nanny. And then that might lead to a more full-time position as his full-time nanny, because who knows what happens to that lady. So, there you go. It's a
How many nannies does one man need?
He's a very wealthy man, and he needs several. I don't know. Actually, he works in like security kind of thing. And I think that he needs help. I don't know. But he's got 2 nannies, one for the nighttime, one for the daytime. He's using it as an excuse to get her in the house. He doesn't really need a nanny. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first is a book that we talked about quite a bit on the channel, but it's been over a year, and I know we have lots of new viewers, subscribers, so I'm going to talk about this book again for Nanny, and that is Finding Home by Lauren Rowe. In this, we have Caleb. Caleb is the drummer for Red Card Riot, and he has an addiction, like an alcohol problem, and he had a fling with this woman, like a groupie, and she ended up pregnant. He signed away all of his rights and kind of has spiraled since he did that. So his daughter is now 2. I think she's about 2. She's a toddler, and the mom has died. And at this time, Caleb is notified, and so he goes and wants to take custody of his daughter because he's felt very guilty this whole time. But he's also just now, he had an issue where he was told the band is like, basically, you get sober or you're done. And so he has been trying to get sober. He's in a treatment program. And so now for him to be able to leave, he has to have a sober companion, a sobriety coach. And so he's kind of in this weird situation where he needs to go be where his daughter is because he wants to try and get custody of her, but he also needs the sobriety coach, which is where Aubrey comes in. And Aubrey was best friends with the little girl's mom. And she reluctantly kind of agrees to be the nanny and help him during this time because she does not want the grandfather getting custody because of a whole nother issue. And so she's like really reluctantly helping him, but she's massively attached to this little girl too. But Caleb's got a lot he's still trying to deal with. Like, he hasn't even really completed his AA treatment program. He's got a lot on his plate that he's trying to deal with. I loved it. I felt like there was a lot of raw, honest emotion in this book. So it's not your typical like meet cute nanny story where, oh, I need a nanny and now she's so good with my kid, I fell in love. It is not like that at all, but it is, which is kind of like what was not like at either. But I do have some of those, feel good small town nanny romances coming.
Okay, I don't for the next one though, just so you know.
No, I do.
Oh, okay, well, I don't, but we're going to talk about mine. We've actually both read this one too.
Really?
So we have.
What if it's on my list?
Well, then we'll have to find another one on our list.
Okay, what is it? It's probably not, but
it's one of BJ's.
Oh, no, it's not. I actually thought about that, and I was like, Jessica will have it.
See, you just know me so well. Okay, so this is this is just Possession. It used to be Daddy's Possession when it was an arc, and that's what it's written down as because we read them as arcs, but it's just Possession by BJ Alpha. So this is the second book in her Mafia Daddy series. You can read it as a standalone, but I really feel like if you start at the beginning, you get all the camaraderie between the brothers, and it's just so much better. Your enjoyment is so much more, but you can just read this one as a standalone. So this is book 2. this is about Ellie and Raphael. So Ellie is the best friend to our heroine from the first book, and Raph is the brother to the hero from the first book. So he's a single dad to his son Oliver, and he needs a nanny, and that's where Ellie comes in. But he doesn't want Ellie to just be his nanny. He wants her to be his little doll as well. Like, he's got some kinks, and there is a huge age gap here. She is 18 and he is 31. And there's some lactation kink. There's all sorts. I don't remember a ton exactly of what happened here, and maybe Mandy does, but that is pretty much my notes. All I know is we both gave it 5 stars. Come on, and we both loved it. It's BJ Alpha, so it is a little on the kinkier side, but it still has a great plot and a great storyline. All of these books are so good.
Okay. Next up, I have Wild for You by Kristen Proby. And this is a little more small town nanny romance, but it also is romantic suspense. So we have Remington. He is a single dad of 2, and he just became head of the Wild River Ranch, the family ranch. And so he's really, really in over his head. And he's finally admitting to his sister, like, I do actually need a nanny to kind of help me out here. So his sister gets somebody to apply, and it turns out it's Aaron. Aaron works at the coffee stand or coffee shop, I think it is, in town. He sees her all the time, has thought she's kind of cute, but he's, your typical small town hot grumpy guy. And so she applies for the job. He kind of reluctantly gives it to her, and then it goes very quickly to like all in. But there's a reason that Aaron has relocated here from Seattle, and it kind of puts everything at risk for her and maybe those that care about her and are around her. So definitely have that romantic suspense part there.
Okay. Well, the next one I have is also we're still in the dark world, apparently. Not all of mine. Wait, let me see. No, not all of mine are dark. Just one is not, but that's okay. So this one, I don't know if you've read this one yet or not, but this is one of my favorite nanny romances, and it is an oldie but a goodie, but we're going to talk about it because it wasn't in our original video, and that is Kingdom Fall by A. Zavarelli. Have you read this yet?
I think so.
Okay.
When you start talking, I'll know.
You'll
but
know.
I'm pretty
so this
sure
is about yeah, you'll figure it out when I start talking. Natalia and Alessio. Alessio is our hero. He has a young son, and he is in need of a nanny. He's a part of the IVI world, so he really isn't he's not a mafia man. He's more of a businessman, but he's in this IVI world. And then you have Natalia. She is our heroine. She uses sign language to communicate. We know that she's gone through some kind of trauma. We know that there is a scar across her throat, and it's not that she can't talk, but it physically hurts her to talk. She's gone through something pretty traumatic, and she gets hired on as the nanny. Now, Alessio, we come to find out, is a virgin hero. So, you have to figure that one out because he does have a son. But she gets brought in as the nanny, but she has some ulterior motives. And we find out very quickly why she's there and what's happened. And it's kind of a crazy, wild roller coaster ride, but it is one of my favorite nanny romances out there. So it's definitely dark. It's got some crazy stuff going on, but it is so good.
I have read that.
You have. I was pretty sure you had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Well, next up, I have my favorite, a significant age gap. It's like a 20-year age gap. And so it definitely has those taboo feels, like the forbidden love. And that is The Nanny is Off Limits by QB Tyler. So we have Rowan. Rowan is an attorney. He has 3 kids, him and his ex-wife. They've been divorced for a few years, and she has recently died. So now he has full custody of his 3 kids. So he's not trained, like he's navigating like some things, with the kids, like their mom has died. They live with him all the time now instead of going back and forth. So things have greatly changed, but he has not been married for several years. So I feel like that's important. I don't want people to think badly of poor Rowan, like his wife just dies and now he's hooking up with the nanny. That's not what happens. But his son is getting in a lot of trouble, and his son's a little bit older, and his son is starting to get into trouble. The youngest is struggling a little bit with some things. And then we have, did I write his name down? River. River, who's Rowan's brother, helps out quite a bit. And one day he's with the kids at the grocery store and they run into this woman who kind of is like correcting some of the like parenting that River's doing. And it works though because he offers her the nanny job that Rowan hasn't even started to like try and figure out yet. And so he ends up with a nanny based on his brother getting kind of involved. But he's really, really attracted to Ellie, and he struggles with this because, like I said, he's 20 years older. His kids have lost their mom. Like, there's all of these things kind of going on. So it's not just as simple as, like, oh, I hired a nanny and now I have the hots for her. Like, not that that's ever simple, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of layers to why this may not work. I loved this one so, so much. And I loved his inner, like, struggle with this too.
Okay.
Okay.
I love it when they struggle.
Thanks for listening.
You're so welcome. That's what I'm here for. The next book I have is one that we've both recently listened to, but it's
Really?
Nanny Light. It is. It's Nanny Light. It is touched on. It is called that, but I'll explain a little bit more here in a minute. And that's Ring of Truth by Deborah Garland. So the author labels this as a nanny romance. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about
It's
that book and I'm
You
confused.
probably, if you blink, you'll miss the nanny part. But let me explain. Okay, so this is, like I said, Ring of Truth by Deborah Garland. The audio is out for this now. This is about Anna and Darrow. So Anna is a mafia princess, and she doesn't want to marry the man that her father is forcing her to marry because her sister. The things in the first book happen with her sister. You can read this as a standalone because I did. And so she takes off. She goes to Vegas, and that is where she runs into Cormac. So Cormac and Darrow are identical twin brothers. They went through medical school. They were both living in Seattle, but Cormac is getting into things that he probably shouldn't be. And so he is in Vegas, and that is when they run into each other. They grew up together. They knew of each other from back home. And so she ends up getting into a relationship with Cormac. Very quickly, we see it's like a year later. She's 8 months pregnant. Something happens between her and Cormac, and they get thrown in jail. Darrow finds out about this, and he is a single father to a child. I can't remember, it was a little girl or what it was, but it was to a kid. And the nannies keep hitting on him. And so he's, got a situation with his nanny, but that's okay. But he goes down to Vegas to take care of his brother, to get his brother out of prison, when he sees that Anna is the other person in jail with him. And he knows that if he doesn't get her out, and like she's 8 months pregnant with his brother's child, but if he doesn't get her out and take claim of her, ownership of her, that is going to cause a war within the mafia. So he leaves his brother in jail, and he takes her back to Seattle, where he promptly fires his nanny. And there was talk of her becoming the nanny, and there's mentions of him needing a nanny, and that he doesn't quite trust her to be the nanny. But the author labels this as a nanny romance, even though the nanny part is so small that if you blink, you'll miss it. Now, she does start taking care of the little girl. She is around, but she's also big and pregnant. And he has this thought of like, we're identical twin brothers. So that is my DNA in her body. That is my baby as well. And he wants to take care of her too. So loved it. But the nanny is very light in this one.
Okay, I remember now. I mean, yeah, I can see how you could call it nanny, but I would say that would be like the micro trope for it.
Yeah, it's nanny light is what we're calling it.
Yeah.
But it's a really good book. So still read it.
Okay, well, my next one is nanny heavy.
Okay, let's do that.
And that is Forbidden Hearts by Corinne Michaels. And this one, we have Asher. He's I think he's like the sheriff of the town. Let me just double check my notes. He's like a sheriff, right? Or he's a cop. I can't remember if he's the sheriff or he's a cop because her Phoebe's dad is his boss. And I think he's getting ready to take over as like the chief of police or something like that. Anyway, he has a daughter, Olivia. Olivia is deaf, and his ex, well, I don't think they were actually even really together. She is going off somewhere. So she's in the picture, but she's going to be gone for like the summer. And so he needs a nanny while his daughter is staying with him full time. But because his daughter is deaf, this throws in like a little bit, like he needs somebody who can use ASL to sign with his daughter. And so Phoebe happens to know ASL. So she's kind of his only option. And the reason that plays into it is because he's really reluctant to hire her, but he's kind of backed into this corner of having to have her and be the nanny. But because of something else that has happened, he's very reluctant to do this. He's also 14 years older than her. And he's, again, small town grumpy hot guy. And so she starts to kind of crush on him. He kind of starts to see her differently when she's interacting with his daughter. And so things just kind of escalate from there. I love Corinne Michael's writing. And so this is just another phenomenal nanny book for everybody to check out.
And it was a good one. I remember reading that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so my last one is one I read a couple of years ago. This one is Where Waves Break by Julia Wolf. This is only one of 2 Julia Wolfs that I've ever given 5 stars to, so it's good. At least according to me, it's good. So this is about June and Diego. So this is book 4 in the Seasons Change series, but you can read it as a standalone because I did, and I was perfectly fine. But we find out, so June is the sister to a girl who is in a rock band, that I think her book is like the first book, but her sister has her come to, I think they go to Italy or to Spain, to nanny for everybody, because at this point all of the rock stars in books 1, 2, and 3 have found their happily ever afters, and now they all got kids. And so her sister has her come to Spain, and she's going to nanny for everybody while the rock band is doing their thing. And that is where she runs into Diego. Now, Diego has brought his son with him. He used to be, I think, a drummer for the band, but he's since gotten out and he's doing his own thing now. But they needed somebody to fill in for them on this tour. And so for this one stop, he comes and he brings his son. She and him have this instant attraction. She kind of does something that really embarrasses him. Like, I think she takes all of her clothes off and tries to get in the shower with him because she can see that there's or something to that nature, because there's something between them. Like there's this chemistry, and he immediately turns her down because of his son, and he embarrasses the crap out of her. And so she just leaves, like she's done, like she's not going to do this anymore. And then they get back home, and Diego needs a nanny for the summer for his son. And his son is constantly talking about June. And she really did fall in love with the little boy while she was there, but him and the little boy, but she's just kind of mortified over what happened. And so is he. And so he does end up calling her and bringing her in because she's the only one that is like the best fit for his son. And he does it for his son. But there's already this tension and this weird dynamic going on. So we'll see what they do with that. But it is very good and I enjoyed it.
Okay. Next, I have On Borrowed Time by Harlow James. So in this one, we have Elodie. I always want to call her Elodie. It's Elodie. So we have Elodie, who has moved to Blossom Peak just for a few months while she tries to rethink, like, what's her next career move. Things haven't worked out the way she wants them to, and she doesn't want to go back home and have to be like, oh, guess what? I need to come back home because things haven't worked out. So she decides to go to Blossom Peak for a few months, and she gives herself a few months there to like think about things, figure stuff out. So she's interviewing at a restaurant, and we have Henley. So Henley has just been basically handed off a 3-month-old and told, hey, this is your kid. I don't want to be a mom. Goodbye. And she leaves him with this baby. He has no clue what he's doing. His friend group doesn't really know a lot about kids either, and his sister doesn't, and he's kind of just panicking on like what to do. But him and his sister grew up in foster care, and while they eventually ended up in a solid situation, he knows what that was like, bouncing around and not having that like family unit. And so he is determined, even though he did not want to have kids, he is determined that his baby will not live this life. Like, he is going to be a dad and he's going to figure it out. So when he finds out, so Henley is interviewing Elodie. Oh my gosh.
Elodie.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Elodie. I should just call her Elle from now on. Elodie, yeah. For the restaurant position, she happens to talk about how her mom ran a daycare and she is pretty good with kids. And he's like, fantastic, you can be hired as my nanny. And she's like, what? And he's like, no, you can be my nanny. So he hires her as his nanny. She's going to live with him and help out. But he is really, really closed off. He has a lot of trauma he needs to deal with. And she is determined to only stay for a couple months, and then she's going to go make the career that she wants for herself work. So they are on Borrowed Time.
Lovely.
Like how I worked that title in?
I did. I think that was ingenious of you. Good job.
I thought so. I thought so
Yeah.
too.
So there are your five. There's your 10 nanny romances for your enjoyment this spring.
Yes. Or whenever you happen to be
Or
watching the
whenever.
video.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
Okay, well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and a lot of times on Wednesdays for new videos for us. And please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We love having you here.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.